Hello everybody, this is Toys R Us. For this special figure showcase, we're going to be looking at all three Series 5 Autobot Junior Headmasters. So what we're going to do with this video, we're going to have a quick look at them in all of their modes. I'm going to start with them in cars, then transform them into the robot mode so you can see how simple the transformation is. I'll also show you the accessories that come with them to help you know if yours is complete. And then of course I'll point out things you need to be aware of if you have to purchase one for yourself. And as I'm lucky enough to have a couple of different types of packaging, we can have a look at the fantastic artwork and the battle scenes on the back of that. Right then, so before we get started, I'd just like to remind everybody who's watching this who's not a subscriber, please hit that subscribe button for me now, as it won't cost you anything, but it helps me out a great deal. So then, from left to right, we've got Nightbeat, we've got Siren, and we've got Hosehead. And I've got a special place for these in my heart, I think, especially this guy. I've got just such good memories of this from when I was a child, and I know it's very basic, as you're about to see. The transformation process is very, very simple, again, which I'm about to show you, but I just think he looks so good. So all of these were released in 1988, and they are referred to, as I say, as Headmaster Juniors. Now, when they're actually in their alternate mode, they're not that much smaller, if I bring in Hardhead, well, maybe a bit, than the standard Headmasters. So, well, they are a bit smaller, but wait till you see it in robot mode. They're quite a bit smaller in robot mode. The Decepticon versions are far smaller. It's really noticeable with them. But they've got their little Headmaster gimmick that was the same with the 1987 figures. However, it's much smaller. There's no articulation in the arms. You've just got the legs that fold up. There's no use for a flap to fold down there. It's just, again, super basic. And each of these came, of course, with one of these head. Muzzle is the guy who came with Nightbeat. You've then got Quig, who came with Siren. And then we've, of course, got Lug over here. Let's have a look at Nightbeat himself then. We'll start off in the alternate mode. And yeah, it's beautiful, isn't it? It looks really nice. The good thing about this is if you've got none of the accessories, which I'll take off and show you now, you can still, providing you've got good stickers and maybe not some faded, display it in this mode. And I think that still looks really good. The wheels go round. You can probably tell that's a robot underneath it, to be honest. And again, it is super basic. Inside here, we've got what is the seat when it's in the alternate mode, but it also doubles up as the helmet when he's in the head mode. So you can see we've got two little notches there. We can fold his legs down, and then we can sit him nice and carefully in the seat. That's better. And pop him inside. So he's obviously the driver as well. A bit like the Decepticon Headmasters, but all of these are, of course, drivers rather than just being put randomly on them. So the weapons for Nightbeat that's his large blaster, and then the two blasters, smaller blasters, sorry, are these. Of course, you've got a left and a right one, so you need the notches either side. Right, we might as well transform him then, hadn't we? So we'll take muzzle out of there. We're literally going to fold the bonnet back, bring the arms out and up, fold the legs out, which of course are fused, unfortunately, so there's no articulation there. Turn the arms around whilst folding the wrists. So we could be extra generous and say there's wrist articulation. There's definitely shoulder, full rotation, but that's pretty much about it. So now with the transformation process for the head, we pull him out, we carefully fold the legs down and then turn it the other way, and then you'll see that fits in there. Now, I suppose the only disappointment with this is, compared to the other Headmasters, I'm just going to fold this down. This is something to be aware of on pretty much all of your Headmasters. If they've got fold-out chest pieces, you need to beware. Now, if you look inside there, you can see there's just one point of the barrel, which will put this down, which basically means that it doesn't matter which Headmaster you put in. So if we take Lug from Hosehead, and if we pop him in like that, you get them readings there. Whereas if I take, obviously, his correct Headmaster and I pop him in like so, it's actually going a bit lower, but usually it's just a barrel being pushed down, so they're the same. Right, so now we're obviously going to put the gun in his hand, and then the two smaller guns that were on his bonnet at first now fit either side. In fact, let's go this way around on the helmet. To be honest, it does make more sense, and it is that bit easier to do exactly what I'm doing now. Attach the weapons to the helmet rather than trying to fit it into the small gap between his arms. But this is the way that I choose to display him, exactly like that, and I think you'll see why. Right, we're going to move over to Siren, and funnily enough, this is a good example. Not all of my loose transformers are, in amazing condition, and that's probably one of the main reasons I haven't done this video before, but I think it's good for you guys to see things that aren't in great condition either, and that unfortunately is this Siren. He is incredibly sun faded. He's partially yellow. You might not be able to see with the video there. The stickers are really poor quality, and he is in fact missing the front chest piece. So I've got Quig inside, but Quig, bless him, is even worse condition. As you can see, he is missing his legs. So we're just going to turn that around, ready to go. I did have a much better one, but I sold that to fund the sealed one you can see behind. In fact, there we go. That's the inside of the hood. That's what colour the grey should be, not this horrible yellow faded one. Right then, so we're going to fold this up out the way, fold the legs down and out, and again, very simply fold the arms around. We can now close the hood and then fold that bit out the way as well. Super simple. Again, you've got shoulder rotation, legs are totally fused. You can see that this really, it might even be referred to as a junker, to be honest, because of the sun fade so bad. But I suppose again, that's the bonus of this channel. Not everything is amazing, and I like to show you things that you do need to be aware of. So we will pop Quig into position. In fact, before we do that, I need to show you his accessories. So there's the large gun for Siren. We'll pop this in his hand. You do actually have a little bit of articulation in the elbow joint there. If you want to, you can pull that out of, I suppose, the forearm protector on the side. And then we've got these two guns, which have also been coloured in. In fact, these are off my Japanese variant, which I'll show you in a second, because all these three, same as the Decepticons, were in the Super God Master Force cartoon in Japan in 1988. But the difference between these and the Decepticons use the same, well, they all use the same molds, but they also use the same colour scheme. Now, I'm not lucky enough to have Nightbeat's Japanese version, which is Minerva, which is a repaint, obviously, of him. It's actually a lady, but I do have Go Shooter, who is the Japanese repaint of Siren, and they both came out at the same time, a bit like Darkwings. They came out at the same time, but they just had completely different stories, different backgrounds, etc. And yeah, they were redecos. But the good thing with these is you could use the same weapons on them if you wanted to. Whereas for Minerva, they're a different colour, so they're much harder to get. But there we go. There is Siren. And again, I suppose it's a good example of what isn't the greatest. He doesn't look too good at all, but I suppose I use him to display. I put him towards the back of the figures, in honesty, so you can't really see. And the accessories are actually Go Shooters. Moving over, we've got Hosehead, and this is his alternate mode. And again, we've got the two accessories for the guns, which fit either side of the helmet. I'll take these off. So that's what you're looking for them. You've also got his large gun, which fits on the top and, of course, in his hand. The hose at the top moves, and this indeed as well folds out. It's not as long as Inferno's ladder, but it's quite a cool little alternate mode. Now you can see, if you want, the seat you would attach completely out of the cab, and you would sit him in there, and again, this doubles up as a helmet. Let's have a quick look at Lug himself then. There he is. Again, just the one screw holding him in, and just the legs held in between that little clip. I'm folding them over, ready to go into the head mode. So the thing you can see already, see there's tabs here for the arms. You do need to make sure that they're intact. So we're going to fold these, bring them up out of the way. As soon as we've done this, you can then fold the bits at the side around. This bit just stays there if you want it to. Now we've got to open the front, I suppose it's like the front grille. This enables you now to transform and pull his legs out, like so. Now, because we've got the tabs, we can slide these through, like so, and then they click into position. And he is the smallest one, and his Japanese name in Super God Master Force is Cab. So we can just attach all the accessories like this. And then again, I'll do the same thing with the helmet. I'll put the weapons either side, just so you can see them before we put the helmet on. And these are very commonly broken, missing, just because they're sort of quite fiddly and quite, well, they are small, fiddly and loose. But if we pop that there we go, you can see they're all in the robot mode. And I did mention that they are a bit smaller than the standard Headmasters, which you can see there, it's quite apparent. And again, even if you've got that one in that particular mode there, you can perhaps see. Right, we're going to move on to some of the packaging then. I'm lucky enough to have a couple of different types of packaging and some sealed stuff. So what I want to show you first and foremost, before we go into the graded ones, I might as well just show you a very quick, very quick comparison between the Japanese packaging and the standard Hasbro one, because that's obviously Siren, there is Go Shooter, so you've got the same box there, all these are the same size. So there's another Nightbeat, I'm going to show you the reason for that in a second. But then here's the Japanese box. A huge difference, literally half the side, just a polystyrene insert, as you can see. Headmaster goes at the front. You've got all the same sort of artwork and details on it, the transformation process, but the big thing with this, and what you're about to see, is a brilliant example of why the polystyrene is so good. It holds the figure in, and then you've got no danger of what you can see has happened to this poor chap. The bubble has came detached, which isn't the greatest, but I've still got the loose, well, complete figure minting box in there. This, by the way, is the standard English box, so you can see the writing is all in English. And I'll show you what I mean by that in a second, because the other one that is still sealed, I'll show you in a second, is in different languages. This is the battle scene on the back from 1988, but it's also known as the Super God Master Force artwork, because that's the cartoon that all these figures were featured in. What I can show you though, because this is obviously opened now, is things to be aware of if you're after a boxed one and you want to display it neatly inside the box. So there's extra little bubbles. So you haven't just got the bubble at the front, you've got underneath, there's another bubble. See there? Can we see it? Yep, there you go. And this just lifts the car up and pushes it against the bubble, the same as you've got the extra bubble there behind the Headmaster. So if you are looking to display it like so, it does look much better. If I take that bubble out, the car just sits flat and you can hardly see it. So that's something to be looking out for if you want to display with your box and with your bubble. Right, let me just, in fact, I'll keep this over here and I'll put it away in a second. Right, let me just move these figures out of the way. So that was the standard English box. Now I'm lucky enough that all three of these at the back, these are still sealed, and this one will be going for grading soon. So this one is a Dutch box, so you've got the different language. You can read there's a slight yellow fade on with the bubble, unfortunately, and there we've got the different language. And if we spin it round again, there is the different languages on the back. Moving over to Siren, and I love the artwork for Siren, to be fair. I think that looks really cool. And again, apparently, but I can't see it, there's a slight yellow tinge there, and that's what they've put on the grade, ATY, but I can't make it out. But there is Siren. If we spin it round at the back, there's the lovely artwork again on the back over there. Normal, full English tech spec. And then finally, we've got Hosehead. And Hosehead, you can see a difference already on his artwork there. That's different to the final figure. There's way more white on there where that's normally, well, it is grey. I'll show you in a second. He's sealed in there. For people who want to know, that's a 75. And again, it's the full English, so the full Hasbro variant of the figure with the lovely artwork on the back as well. So there you go. So apologies for it taking so long to get around to doing. The main reason was I was going to try and get another Siren, but as I've said, I think it's probably better. In fact, let's just show you this. See the difference? Grey and not white. I think it's actually worked out better because it does give you the opportunity to see things, you know, that aren't in the greatest condition either. And, you know, things what to look out for, because I think the problem, especially with Nightbeat and Siren, is they are so susceptible to sun fade, to yellowing, etc. And these, they all have. They've got exactly that. So And I'm always talking, and I'm sure you'll see on all the Headmasters, be aware of the chest piece that folds down. It's very, very important. So guys, I hope you enjoyed looking at them. Hope it brought back some nice memories if you had any when you were a child. And again, I hope it helped you with your decision if you were after purchasing any yourself right now. So thanks very much for watching. Take care. Thanks for watching. Like and comment. And don't forget to subscribe.